All right, what's up, guys? This is Igor in Russia, and I make videos about St. Petersburg in Russia with a Western perspective. And this time around, we have an interesting person, YouTuber on this channel, on this video. We have St. Petersburg, me. Welcome, Ksenia.
Hello, Igor, and hello, the subscribers of the channel of Igor. Hi, everyone.
So you're not current.
My name is Ksenia.
And you're currently now in St. Petersburg, the greatest city in the world, I might add. Where are you?
I'm in St. Petersburg. I live here, and yes, it's a very, very nice city. Yeah.
What's your, if it's not a secret, what is your region of, what do you represent? What's part of the city?
I live in Krasnogvardeyski district.
All right. When in St. Petersburg, I'm in Primorsky rayon, like near Komendansky. But Krasnoarmeyski, is that the area? It's like
Krasnogvardeyski, yes.
Is it like Vyborsky? Is it the same areas like Vyborsky, Primorsky?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not sure, where is it?
It's
south.
It's a little bit near the center.
Okay, cool. I'm the outskirts of the city type of guy.
But you are by the bay.
Yes. Well, not. I'm northwest, so I will have to travel to the bay, Finnish Bay, Gulf of Finland, to Begovaya, and that's there's no straight road to Begovaya, so it takes like 40 minutes, even though it's by car maybe 15. But it's not that close. But we do have a small like a lake nearby, man-made lake. Yeah. And
nice.
Yes.
I don't think I visited this lake. It's not a very big lake.
It's
right?
not, and it's not real. I think it's man-made.
Oh.
So yeah, and it's awesome place, and yeah, but we can talk about life a bit later on. So you run your channel, and you have a really nice following there. Why did you start, by the way, YouTube? What made you do it, and when did you started that?
If I will tell you the history of how I started this channel. So I should say about my previous channel, which didn't work out. So I started a channel of how to learn English for Russian speakers, and I, got bored at once with this channel. I thought, I don't want to do that. I mainly focused on reading there. So the channel was about reading books in English. And I thought, oh, not a very good idea. Then I took a time to think a little bit more about YouTube. And then I just thought, oh, why not starting to tell foreigners about Russia? I know English very well. I can communicate in English fluently, and I know Russia very well. Why not? So I tried to make a video, and I kind of liked it. So I thought, why not? And started to making videos. Somewhere deep in me, like in the back of my mind, I know where the things were going. Like back in 2019, I clearly saw that Russia was against the Western world. It was clear because they were just talking about enemies around. So I thought, why not to show people that Russians are just ordinary people. So I wanted to show that Russians are ordinary people, that we are the same. Yes, we have some traditions, some culture traits that are different, but on the whole, we are the same. We want the same things throughout the globe. So I wanted to tell foreigners that we are good people.
Yeah,
actually.
and it's getting harder and harder nowadays to do so.
Yeah, but
But
now it turned out that unfortunately all my efforts were not very you know um, effective, because nowadays many Russians prove the opposite, that we are different, really different.
why? How come?
So many people support the war. Many people want the enemies to die. They are sure that enemies all around them. So.
But you shouldn't be too harsh specifically. But like I said, I have this Western perspective because even though you might think the Westerners, it's like they're, in this case, better people when you're talking about people's minds and attitudes.
Mm-hmm.
But here, as a Russian speaking person, for example, it's not very, very far fetched that people actually have really negative and, destructional opinions about Russian people as well, all across Europe.
Mm-hmm.
Not as popular as it is right now, but before events in Ukraine, even. So I think it's just people are people, but this is like the politics side, and that's when the propaganda hits, and propaganda is everywhere. It's not only in
Mm-hmm.
Russia; it might be even stronger here in the West, the
Oh.
propaganda nowadays, and it's very. That's why I said I don't agree with you that they have. I personally still believe Russians are great people, and when it comes to these type of topics, no matter what nationality, you might get that type of reaction, especially when you have been bombarded with this information.
Mm-hmm.
And so basically, they're not bad people; they just been influenced, and or just
Yeah.
getting it's getting the patriotism gets, when it's used, and every
Mhm.
country uses that. So I hope you still have hope.
I still have hope in my people. Yes, I know that. I understand that many people are influenced by news and TV, newspapers, and online outlets. Yes, they are quite working effectively. Those sources of information which are controlled only by the state. Yes, they are very effective in influencing people with the
Yeah.
narrative and want. Yeah.
But so you started your video and you got a huge hit, and you gained a lots of popularity during this time, I think, right? You had a pretty pretty big channel already, but
Mm-hmm.
during these events, I refer to them as these events or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I also follow like the Russian law. For example, I have huge plans for Russia. I don't plan to, start making announcements about name using of certain
Mm-hmm.
events, etc. I plan to come to Russia, and I don't want to be involved in any illegalities. So for me,
Mm-hmm.
like normal thing to say. But anyway, during these times, you reached a lot of subscribers, right? Because
Uh,
some
mm,
video hits very became
yeah. Yeah.
viral.
Yes, when all these events with the special military operation started, I decided to tell people how it is in Russia now. So I decided to focus on in events that are happening in Russia, in what I live. For example, I had a video on real estate situation in Russia because I was going to sell my part of my property. So I have this video. Then I was making videos about prices in stores. I had two videos, I think.
Yeah.
Then I also I'm trying to speak about things that people from the Western countries think that they are not existing in Russia, like homeless situation. Yes, we don't see homeless people in the streets, but
Yeah,
they
I never
exist.
saw.
And how it turned out, they exist in great quantities in Russia. We just don't see them. because they're hiding. So I'm trying
Very interesting.
um, speak about stereotypes, about um, what is going on, basically, because I don't feel like making videos about my regular content like cultural or daily life. um, I just don't have a moral right to do that,
Yeah.
it's think about it. So I'm trying to focus on the topics that are going on right now, but without accusing, but without like saying bad things. I'm just saying how it is and how I see that. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So, and why have you always lived in St. Petersburg? Is that's like, or did you move from somewhere else? Are you like real St. Petersburgian, so-called real?
No, so I was born in Yakutia.
Mm.
Then my parents moved to Krasnodarsky Krai, or it is now called Republic Adygea in Russia. Then we moved to Belarus. Then I moved on my own to Smolensk, and then I moved to Saint Petersburg.
When did you move then to St. Pete?
To Saint Petersburg in 2010.
Ah, okay. So it's been, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm here about, I'm living here about 13 years already.
And you love it? Is it the best city out of all you've experienced?
You know, not say so.
Yeah? What is better?
I don't like the weather here. I don't like that it is always gray, rainy. St. Petersburg is the second biggest city in Russia, so the ecological problems here are quite numerous for me. For example, I just there is a
And
lot of noise because the city is huge. So I
yeah.
don't like that. I would prefer to have something smaller.
But yeah, I understand because St. Petersburg, like you said, second biggest city, and I think officially there's like 5.5 or something like that
Yeah.
million, but actually there's like, I think somebody recorded this like way over 7 million
Yeah.
because there's so many illegals or like unofficial people living. And then, of course, there is an illegality problem from Caucasus.
Yeah.
That's why we have police in Russia just asking people looking suspicious, let's say, or different, let's put it like this.
Yeah.
And it's not racist because this would be unheard of in the Europe, of course, even though there is racial profile everywhere, but officially there is not in Europe. That means like police looks like you, okay, you're black, we will ask you. So that's illegal, by the way.
Yeah.
You shouldn't. But in Russia, it's like, I think it's not, they don't have any racist background. It's just because of it's because of reality, because there is a huge numbers of illegals. We can see it from Moscow when they attack these markets and there's like tons of people who are illegal and stuff.
Yeah.
So that's the reason. But yeah, and a lots of noise. That's why the most thing I love I love St. Petersburg, but I don't like is that there's so much focus on cars, but there's no other choice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Best way to move in St. Petersburg is metro, but even better is by car, except during the rush hour. But the city is built on the basis of how cars can move, except when we're talking about, of course, parking.
Yeah.
So cars are important, but not parking. So you have this problem.
Yeah.
So what is life then in Russia right now, since you film it, and of course, as a local, you know a lot about it, but especially that's your speciality on the channel. So what's life in Russia like now, if you compare it to earlier to this 2022?
Now I'm working from home. So I have a job, a normal job, 9 to 6 job, and I work it from home. So I don't get to go out much. But when I go out, I can see that people are, like looking normal. they look in average like they looked before. But of course, for example, when people see me on the streets, they also think that I look normal, that I look average. But what's inside myself, what is happening in my head, it's just a lot of emotions, a lot of negative emotions, pain. So maybe that is the same in other people, which I see are looking normal. So Russians don't get to show their emotions, especially to unknown people. So they look like every day, even before the special military operation started. But I think that they feel a lot of emotions now, but they are hiding it. St. Petersburg looks totally normal, you know, like it was before. Cars are going in and out. I don't know, like people are going there and there, and people are working. People go to work. People go from work. People go out of the city for weekends. People go in the city for weekdays. So life seems to be pretty normal. And you know what I can tell you about the differences before? You know,
Yeah.
I was traveling to Belarus before the New Year's and after. And, like before the war, I I remember that I had internet connection on when the train made stops. So on the stops, internet connection was good. I could use different websites, different I don't know, like
Hmm.
social media. But now it's not like that anymore. The internet connection on the stops are not good. Uh,
Okay.
I cannot use social media now. I cannot connect to VPN. This was twice when I went to Belarus on the way, and on the way back to St. Petersburg. It was like that. So
Is there
something
any? Do you
wrong
think
with,
there's like military reasons or what?
I don't know. I
Yeah.
don't know.
But so, what about the like sanctions and that type of stuff? Have they affected ordinary people's lives? I have an opinion, of course, but
Mm,
this is your show. Well,
I
my show, but for
mm,
your platform.
About sanctions. I think my life was hit by sanctions. Um, I cannot use PayPal as I'm a YouTuber in Russia now. I cannot pay. For example, I wanted to transfer money to my mom in Belarus. That there were dollars, and I wanted to transfer a big amount, not like $10,000 less, more or less. But for me, it's a big amount of money, and the bank couldn't do that for two months.
Yeah.
So yes, and that money were for my mom to like to use
Lit-
as for medical treatment. So it's vital,
So
that
you had to bring it physically, right?
yes, yes, but they were dollars, and I couldn't withdraw dollars.
Ah, true. By the way,
Yeah,
yes, yes,
so
yeah. So
that's
how did you were you able to do something?
I filed a lot of complaints to the bank, and finally they were able to transfer them to Belarus. I think that maybe they they couldn't do it not because of sanctions, but because they didn't want to let out dollars of the country.
Oh, yeah.
I think that was the biggest reason, not because
but
sanctions.
that's I think now it's okay, right? In the beginning, it was like that, I think.
I don't know about now. I transferred it in summer, and in summer for me it was a problem. Now, as for now, I don't know. I didn't do that anymore. So yes, about stores. If you want to hear my opinion, some items have disappeared. For example, some hygienic items that I used to like, they disappear. So now I have to choose other things. It's not that like they disappeared at all, like hygienic things, but I have
just the brands, the right.
I have to get used to other ones.
Yeah.
So that's how. And for example, at my local store, grocery store, it was not a big one, but they stopped using one part of their store. They made a wall, and the store became smaller size because they just had to put away some shelves with items at all.
Yeah.
So
interesting. But yeah, this type of small changes I've also noticed. But basically, products change, or they are like what's the word? They bring, instead of the international brands, they make their own or something like that. Sometimes maybe the quality is not as good, and that's main reason what people basically often want the international brands, Finnish and etc. But I think there are small changes compared to what here in the West they say that has influenced, or hope, because these are minor things compared to how Russia is the most sanctioned country in the world, and if these are the changes. But of course, we are not like economical minds with you, I think. So I guess many say the influences have to be measured from years on, that type of stuff. But let's see. So what about possible mobilization? There's been a talk in the West and also in Russia, some rumors in the beginning of the year, at late last year, beginning of this year. So what's the rumors are now?
Rumors are that there will be the second wave of mobilization, and the President Putin will be giving a speech on the 24th of February or something like that.
Okay.
So a big
anniversary.
Big event is planned, and many experts say that he may speak about total mobilization, but it's a suggestion. It's only a rumor. Nobody knows what he will be speaking about. So I don't know what to expect. There is a fuss about that on YouTube in the videos. But for example, when I work at my work, when I call my colleagues, they are quite calm. Nobody is going anywhere.
You mean male colleagues?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So I don't know. So when I go to YouTube, there is a lot of rumors. There are a lot of speeches, videos about that. But when I go like on the streets or when I get to speak to my colleagues or friends, they are quite, calm.
But that's the thing, that YouTube is our own world, and if we're talking about worldwide YouTube, the most of the content has to be some kind of frightening, negative about Russia. That's also a rumor, but I think it must be like that also as algorithms.
Oh.
That's all the negative sells better, especially about Russia. And that's why you don't see that much videos like mine that's just, or yours actually, even because your main videos are also kind of not negative reality but still negative, right? But if you would make it even more negative, you will see that there's exactly like those videos like mobilization and demonizing Russians, and this way it will basically expand better. But that's why YouTube is like our own world within the world.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, most of the world, Western world especially, has no clue about reality of Russia because they want to see only what they want to see, what they believe in beforehand. So if you'd say like everybody's calm, nothing's going on, that's not going to be a hit video. But mobilization is coming, even though it's just like a rumor, that's a hit. But if you say that, hey, here's a little survey from my reality, from the real Russia, my colleagues are actually calm and not everybody's panicking, because they also portray Russians as, there's a panic because there was a lot of people who moved out from Russia during the first wave or partial thing. So everybody's thinking that if second comes, it's going to be all over again, and basically hoping as well, of course.
Yeah.
But interesting. So,
the fact is that when they had this paper like opening mobilization in September, they didn't have the paper stopping the mobilization. So that partial mobilization was not over by paper, because in Russia those like bills, acts are very important. So if there is no a special paper with the signature, that means that it's still going on, or maybe on. So maybe it was stopped for that period of time, and now we are not we don't know what to expect really. And when you are in Russia, like me, I don't know what to expect the next day. I'm really living like on
day-to-day basis.
Yeah, like yes.
Yeah, but that's true in Russia. Stuff can happen quickly, and that's like the culture, nation's culture also, and also on the people level. If we're talking about just ordinary life, I don't even plan stuff. If we're talking about a little bit lighter things, if I film just the real world, I don't nowadays. I know just going outside, you will see something interesting or something will happen. Something out of not scripted.
Yeah.
And that's like the Russian, I don't know what's the word for it, mentality. Because
yes, sometimes that is how you described. Yes.
Yeah. So very interesting to see what's going to happen. But I think also that Putin and Russian government has been clever in that mind that very often when there's a lots of rumors, they usually don't do it when there's too much rumors packed on or certain theories.
Yes.
And especially if the West says something like, for example, they've been talking about like the huge attack, like major attack, build up, but then nothing sort of happens. Then the media, after months of saying that a great attack is happening, soon going to continue from Russian side, then they say, actually, there might have not be any. And the media, by the way, I think, okay, they cover the news, but they also have to sell papers. So they also have to be a one step further in greater sphere, greater something, always something more. And that's very sad. So what about the economy on the people level? Like, that's what I've been also wondering, since I've also noticed that everything seems to be normal. I think even the shops, minus the few sanctioned or boycott companies that left, or renamed themselves, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
So the shops are still, I think, quite the same packing, or are they? For me, it looks like everything is normal. Like people still have money to buy uh, everything, going on vacation, trips, even though, of course, it's now.
You know,
They,
speak about Saint Petersburg and Moscow. Yes, the incomes of people living here are different from the rest of Russia, you know. So maybe, yes, people from Saint Petersburg and Moscow, they can still afford things and even trips and vacations. However, I see that people who don't live in these two biggest cities, they are they're quite short in money, you know. But you know, Russians, especially who live in the rest of the country, they have the skill to survive, you know. And
yeah,
if they stopped planting and growing vegetables in their dachas, in their vegetable gardens, they will start this year. You know, my family, yes, so we live in Belarus. My family lives in Belarus, but we each year we just grow vegetables in our
yeah,
garden. Potatoes is the main item, so is the main vegetable. There are a lot of harvest in September.
yeah.
So, people know how to survive because Russian people survived through 90s, and that gave them the skill to survive, the skill to have less, and the skill to constantly looking for the source of money, constantly making ideas of how to gain extra money. So that is
Is it
our, you know, skill, really.
is it like, was it Stalin who said that we need to just, when it's hard, you just buckle up,
Yeah,
tighten your
no,
belt.
if it's Stalin or not, but yes, there is
Yeah,
a saying that
ремень
hard work.
затянуть.
Yeah.
Yes, it's all right. What about few couple of questions more? Since you're basing a lot of stuff on your own experience, and then also you've heard some news. What news do you trust or you use for your, like?
Um,
What's the combination? And
I
what about normal Russians? That's if you're not a normal Russian. What about others?
so I I'm subscribed to a Telegram channel by Ilya Varlamov.
Yes.
I think you may know him.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. But
And I watch a number of channels on YouTube. But of course, when you hear everything, you have to divide, you know, the flow of information by two at least. You have to analyze what they say, what everybody is saying, and I don't watch TV or read newspapers. I bought some for one of my videos, you know, but I don't read the outlets that belong to the state. So when I read them, I know that the meaning is opposite. So they
yeah,
always telling what's right for them and how they would like a thing to look. So
yeah.
yeah.
So, and but many Russians do read the outlets, the older people, or
Yeah.
read the news, and other use digital news.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of, by the way, not sanctions, boycotts, or what do you call that? I'm not able, for example, I cannot read news for certain sites. I think RIA Novosti is blocked. They're blocked in European Union, etc. During this, because of this situation. But so, like, but Russian media has been blocked in. They've been trying to block it from Europe a longer time, like RT,
Mm-hmm.
Russia Today, and that type of stuff. But now it's even easier to.
I know a couple of people who are a little bit older than me. For example, like 45 years old, or I don't know, like 40 years old in Russia, and they have university education. They all live in St. Petersburg, and they read Telegram channels that like pro war. So
Did you say pro?
pro
Yeah.
war. So I don't know why such people believe that enemies are around, that somebody wants to conquer Russia. I don't know. Especially if a person has university education, I just don't understand how their brain works in such a moment when they believe that somebody is trying to destroy Russia. I just don't know.
We could have an own video about it, because that would be interesting discussion to bring maybe some new proof kind of things or theories about it. Even though, yeah. But last questions. What do you think the Russians think about this whole situation right now, and where is it leading to? Like, what are people's beliefs and hopes? No, hopes is easy because everybody hopes for peace and a hope. But
I can tell you that even those people who are not pro-war, but they are pro-government, or like they believe that nationalists are like killing Ukrainians. So such people also want peace, and they want this special military operation, how they call it, to end up as soon as possible. But only they believe that Ukrainians are like killed by Ukrainian army, and they think that Russia is really liberating them. So there are such people too, and they really want this all over. I know a couple of them in person. We are not communicating very much, but I know their opinion. They are not happy of this. Of the bombings and fighting, but they think that Ukrainian army is killing Ukrainians.
Yeah.
So only I think like Z patriots are pro war. They want this war to continue. They want to destroy Ukraine, and they say it out loud. So now Russian society is divided into maybe I don't know, like 3 groups of people who are Z patriots, who are pro-war. The other group is people who believe that Ukrainians have to be liberated by the Russian army, but they are not happy of the fightings and bombings. People who are against the war.
What's the percentage division? Very rough, estimation.
I think that like Z patriots maybe like 40%, maybe 40%.
Are you serious?
Yes. Then those who are like don't want this bombing, but they are
the second group,
but they are not Z.
Yeah.
They are like maybe 20%, and maybe all others are people who are against. It's my opinion. It's only
right.
Because not in my opinion, not everybody who believes that Ukrainians are killing Ukrainians are Z people. Not everybody.
I would estimate roughly, just by my own, gut feeling, I would differently. I would say the first group is like maybe 10% maximum.
Mm-hmm.
Much bigger for the second one, maybe like 50%,
Oh.
making like pro something like
Mm-hmm.
60 and maybe 40 or even 30 against.
Mm-hmm.
But that's my just gut feeling. I'm not basing on anything.
Yes, it's very hard to count now because
People
all
don't speak.
the
Yeah.
information is not reliable now, because when they take polls, people are just afraid to answer what they think. So they answer what is needed to be answered and go away. I will give you the answer, just leave me alone.
Yeah. And that's more and more, by the way, common when you see some like surveys on the streets that when people start to ask something about the Ukraine that they don't want to comment. This is Russian people were non-politicized, or what do you say, unpoliticized for longer time. But now it's getting even stronger that people don't want to say their opinions. And same thing, by the way, here in Finland, which is like, if you're talking about politics, are very against Russia, but now it's like very, very high number. And the people who are maybe against, not like, well, more neutral to Russia, or like more normalized opinion-wise to Russia, or against NATO, because NATO is somehow it has it's a combination, like against Russia, pro-Ukraine, pro-NATO, that type of stuff. So and those who are against NATO, basically the same thing as in Russia. They don't want to say their opinions because they're gonna get very easily, blacklisted type of thing, or have a stamp on, or you get called out names just because you have a different opinion, because it's also unhealthy situation here on the like it's a mirror effect to Russia when it's like, so it's very interesting.
But does people get into prison in the Western countries for their opinion, like in Russia?
Of course not. Yeah, of course not. But I've been saying a long time, if you have like normal, but yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, definitely not. But the situation is also different, because your opinions kind of don't, what's the word? Nationally dangerous, what? And if they were, I think the situation would quickly change. I think even here in this great paradise, so called. That's my opinion. I'm a bit pessimistic though, but I'd say yes. I might be even more realistic than many others. But I mean, we can see that when everybody was saying, for example, about NATO, that how democracy is important, and of course we're going to have a national vote, or what you call that, like voting for it. But as soon as this situation was more dangerous, as all that went to straight out the window, and the official polls, like media polls, were enough to make this decision like this instantly. So I think it's a little bit, it's just the image that everything is so fine, but once it gets serious, if it gets serious, I think more like stricter measures would be taken. And in Finland, it's very, people can say their opinions, but if the opinion is against the like commonly supported ideas, especially if we're talking about Russia, you won't be put to prison, but you might be blacklisted, which is as bad. All right, this has been a very interesting insight into the Russian world. St. Petersburg Me channel, subscribe to her channel, link in description and in the video link, video name as well. Leave also a like. Thanks a lot for coming to Igor in Russia.
Thank you so much for inviting me.
And see you guys in the next videos from St. Petersburg and Russia. Bye-bye.
Bye.